analytics with Excel. And please stop writing on the screen. I'm seeing some dots, some colors on the screen. Please stop writing on the screen. I can't start cleaning everything one after the other. Now, for the next 6, 7 classes, we have things to do on Excel. Okay? We're going to be looking at data analytics with Excel, the introduction to Excel. We're going to be looking at under introduction to Excel, we're going to be looking at understanding the interface. We're going to be looking at workbook and worksheets, navigation, selecting cells, applying filters, paste special. All right. Then, in the next class, looking at the cleaning and preparation. Okay, which is part of the process phase. I told you that the process phase, which is the third phase in data analytics life cycle, is the phase where you clean and transform your data. So I'm going to be looking at some techniques, okay, that will happen in the next class and say upper class, depending on how fast we move. Okay, now everything that we're going to be making use of for the data analytics with Excel, the formulas we're going to be talking about and everything has been prepared in just one slide. Okay, so I don't need to break this into different slides for different classes. So you have one for Excel. When we get to Power BI, you have one for Power BI as well. When we get to SQL, you have one for SQL. Okay, so that way on your system, you don't have class 1, class 2, class 3, and then be having 24 slides in total. You can have 24 videos, okay? But you know that you have Excel slide, you have Power BI slide, you have SQL slide. So for the Excel slide, the formulas we're going to be making use of, there are some formulas, there are some processes here that you'd see. For those of you that like making use of slides, we have deleting blanks. The steps are there, though I'll be showing it again in class. We have fill a range. The steps are there, I'll be showing it. Flash fill, find and replace. Quite a number of techniques there that we're going to be looking at. All right, then we'll move on to important functions, okay, by the 6th or 7th class, okay. We'll look at some functions, all right, logical functions, your if, and, or, not, VLOOKUP function, match index, and some mathematical functions, then sum if, count ifs as well. Then we'll move on to the analysis. Okay, although this is going to start off our analysis, sum if, count if, but then analyzing data in Excel is best done using pivot tables. So then we move on into pivot table. You see how to insert a pivot table, and then we'll analyze data, build a dashboard in Excel, and wrap it up. Okay, so we're about to start a very wonderful journey. How can you effectively learn on this journey? Make sure you practice after each class. Okay, you need everything that you need has been provided to you. The class videos provided, the slide provided. All right, so let's go into introduction to Excel. Now, the interface of Excel. This is the Excel interface. All right, we're going to open up our Excel now. I have ribbon tabs, name box, selected cell, rows, sheet tabs. All this is there for you to, go through the slide, see it, be able to identify it. But let me open up Excel so that I can demonstrate that to us. I can show us that. So this is even what we have for today. All right, and if I can cover this for today, then it means that we did not waste any time. Our class today is Introduction to MS Excel. Understand the interface, understand workbook and worksheets, understand navigating, understand selecting cells, understand applying filters, understand paste special. Okay, although we're going to be looking at applying filters in the data cleaning, what's it called here, sort and filter, but I'll see what I can show you in today's class. Okay, so if we cover all this today, then it's a time well used. All right, I think I need to close this. Okay, so this is MS Excel. Let me start from the top again. I'm going to search for Excel in my system, and I'll open up Excel. So Excel is okay, it's open. That's opened. All right. Now, over here, we have blank workbook. All right. We have blank workbook. Now, before we get to workbook and worksheet, let's talk about the interface first. So I'm going to click on blank workbook to take me to the interface, the main interface of Excel. All right. Now, some of you might have your Excel like this, or let me just do it the way it is normally. Let's show you one. Oh, good. Now, you would have your Excel like this. All right. Now, let us explain the interface of Excel. Starting from the bottom. At the bottom, you have sheet 1. In Microsoft Excel, okay, you can have multiple sheets. Okay? Sheets are simply where you have your data. A sheet consists of rows and columns. Okay? So at the bottom here, you have sheets. You can click on this plus icon to create a new sheet. What do I mean? Now, we have rows. Horizontally is a row. Okay? Horizontally, we have rows. Do you see that? These are rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I say row 1, this is row 1. If I say row 2, this is row 2. If I say row 3, this is row 3. And then vertically, we have columns. Column A, column B, column C, column D. All right? Now, the intersection of a row and a column is known as a cell. Column D can intersect with row 1, can intersect with row 2, can intersect with row 3. That intersection is known as a cell. So this is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell. All right. So all these boxes that you see here are cells. The lines that divide them, that demarcate them, are known as grid lines. Grid lines. So your column is denoted by letters A, B, C, D, and so on. Your row is denoted by numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. The intersection is a cell. Now, wherever you have this green box, that cell is called an active cell. Active cell. Okay? The active cell is the cell that is currently selected. And you will have the reference of the cell, also known as the name of the cell, in the name box over here. All right? You see name box over here. All right? And it says what? The name of this cell is what? E5. So this is cell E5. And why is it E5? Because it is an intersection of column E and row 5 to give E5. All right? So it means that this one here will give me F4 because it is an intersection of column F and row 4. F4. All right? So I can type into each one of these cells. Let us type into this cell. Let's say name. Let's say class. Let's say age. Okay? Name in cell A1, class in cell B1, age in cell C1. Okay? Down here, I have the sheet's name. I can rename this sheet and call it student detail by double clicking and then typing student detail. That is the name of the sheet. Okay? Now, I can click plus icon over here to create a new sheet. Now, when I click new sheet, you can see it names it sheet 2. And I have a blank sheet. Now, the name, class, and everything is not in this sheet because this is a new sheet. Do you see that? Okay, I can go back to the student details. I will have my data. I can come to new sheet, my sheet 2, and I can put another thing there. So let's say we take company, department, number of employees. Do you see that in sheet 2? So you can create more sheets. So this is sheets, or these are sheets. Okay. Now, this entire Excel workbook, okay, or this entire group of sheets is known as a workbook. So in a workbook, you can have one or multiple sheets. Do you now see the difference between workbook and worksheet? So your workbook is like combination of multiple sheets, one or multiple sheets. All these sheets is in one Excel file. Okay? The Excel file is the workbook and it has multiple worksheets. Okay? So I've explained cell, rows, columns, name box, right? Now, this is a formula bar or the formula bar. What does the formula bar, what does it do? The formula bar simply, all right, shows the formula in a cell. This is a cell. If there is a formula in this cell, it will appear in the formula bar. If I click on cell A1, it shows company. Okay? What is in the cell is what is appearing here. But if there is a formula in this cell, it is the formula that will appear here. What do I mean? If I say, let me type 2 plus 2, okay? Every function of formula has to start with an equals to sign. Take note of that. Every function of formula must start with an equals to sign. I'll say equals to 2 plus 2. Let me zoom in. And I'll press enter. Let me zoom in so that you can see it better. I press enter. What does 2 plus 2 give me? 4, isn't it? But if I click on this cell, you will see that in the formula bar, it is showing me the formula in the cell. So the formula bar tells you the formula that is present in a cell. You might have the output in the cell. You might have the answer in the cell. But the formula bar will tell you the formula present in that cell. All right. So now, if I have another formula, let's say equals to sum. Don't worry, all these formulas, sum, the functions, you will still learn them. Okay. I just want to use it to show you the essence of formula bar before we move on. So I'm summing 1, 2, 3 equals to 6. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6. But if I click in the cell, it's showing me the function that produced this particular output. So that is the essence of the formula bar. You can click in a cell and instead of typing in that cell, you come to the formula bar and type the formula. I can say equals to 5 times 6. Press enter. It will give me the answer in the cell. All right. So that is formula bar. name box, cells, active cell, columns, rows, sheets. Now to the top, we have ribbon tabs. File, home, insert, page layout, formulas, data, review, view, automate, developer, help, power pivot. Now, some of these you might not have. You most likely don't have automate, developer, and power pivot. Okay? All right. Your own probably ends after view and help. All right. So we're not going to be touching those ones, so you don't need to bother about that. All right. Now, all these are called ribbon tabs. Ribbon tabs. Okay, beneath it, you have your entire ribbon. Okay? This entire space, including the ribbon tab, rather, is known as your ribbon. So in the ribbon, you have the ribbon tabs, file, home, insert, page layout, formulas, and so on. You have ribbon controls. Each one of these functionalities, each one of them is known as a ribbon control. Each one of them like this is known as a ribbon control. Okay? So there are many things, various things that you can do here, of which we are going to be exploring some of them. Okay? Now, there's a demarcation between some ribbon controls. Okay? Now, each demarcation represents a group. You can see the name of the group below. This group of functions is clipboard. This group is font. So each group is known as ribbon group. Ribbon group. Okay? So ribbon tabs, ribbon groups, and then each function, ribbon controls. Ribbon controls. So the entire thing makes up your ribbon. So when I say ribbon, I'm talking about this entire space, from your ribbon tabs down to the end here. All right. Now, in each ribbon tab, you have different functionalities. You can see the one under the home tab. If you move to the insert tab, you see another set of functionalities. If you move to the page layout tab, another set of functionalities again, and so on and so forth. All right. Now, we have understood the interface. Okay. We've talked about name box, selected cell or active cell, rows, sheet tabs, cells, formula bars, columns, ribbon tabs, ribbon groups, ribbon controls. We've talked about every single one of them. Okay? But to add to it, you have your zoom functionality here. You want to zoom in or out, you can do that here. You can make use of this to do that. All right. Now, we've understood the interface. So when I say go to your ribbon tab, because I'm someone that, as I am teaching, I also talk. I repeat whatever it is. I say whatever it is I'm about to do. Okay? So if I say go to your ribbon tab, I expect you to know where your ribbon tab is. I say, okay, click on the ribbon group this, or the ribbon control this. It makes it easier because you already know what ribbon tab is. You know what ribbon group is. You know what ribbon control is. All right. So I'm going to go back to student details. I'm going to zoom in. Name, class, age. All right. Now, what else do we want to see? We want to look at, so we've seen understanding the interface, we've seen workbook and worksheets, navigation, okay, going from one sheet to another, which I've shown you by clicking on creating a new sheet. You can create new sheets and move from one sheet to another. Okay, selecting cells by clicking on the cell, you have active cells. Okay, you can select a cell, click on the cell to type. Now you need to know something. If you want to, let's say I type inside the cell name. Let's say I type Akintola and I put double L in the Akintola. Okay, I'm still going to show some things. Now, initially this is how it was. It looked as if the Akintola is entering into the cell for class, but it is not. You will see that this line broke. Okay, what is happening is that the value in this cell is spilling into this cell. And why is that? Because there is nothing in this cell. If I type something in this cell, SS2, you see that it's as if that Akintola has cut, but it is still in the cell. If I click on that cell, you see that it shows fully in the formula bar. So if I want to expand the cell so that it will show fully, I take my cursor, look at my cursor, a big white arrow, or a big white cross cursor, isn't it? If I take it to this demarcation between column A and B, it turns to a bidirectional cross. Okay, with this, if I click and drag, it expands the cell. Or I can simply double click to give it the right width that will contain every value in that column. Okay, now with this, I can do the same for the row. Come to that line that demarcates 2 rows. See, you have a bidirectional arrow. One facing up, one facing down. Now, if you click and drag, it expands that row. Okay? So if I want to undo, I press Ctrl Z to undo. Ctrl Z to undo. Or you click on this icon up there to undo. Okay? Now, with this, you know how to expand cells. You know how to type into cells. What if you want to edit the value in a cell? This Akintola is not meant to be double L. If I want to edit the value in this cell, look at something. If I click in the cell and I say, okay, I want to edit the value, and I press, is it delete? It deletes everything. But that's not what I want. Let me press Ctrl Z. I only want to delete L. Okay, let's say I just type A. If I type A, it cancels everything. But that is not what I want. I want to be able to edit what is in the cell. To do that, I have to double click the cell. If I click once, you'll see that the cell is just selected. There is no cursor blinking in the cell. But if I double click, you see now that there's a blinking cursor in the cell, telling me I can now delete individual characters and edit it as I wish. So I can delete just that N now, and I have Akintola. Okay, press enter, and you have this automatically.
You're done.
All right. Now, let us look at formatting text before we go ahead and explore applying filters and paste special. Okay. Now we're going to look at formatting text. So let's do name, class, and age. Let's say his age is 16. Okay. So I'm just going to be putting different details here. Please, can you mute yourself if you are mute? If you are on mute, please.
We should look for the ad.
I don't want to be forced to mute everyone to the extent that you won't be able to unmute yourself. Okay? So please let us make sure that we are always mute from time to time. All right? From time to time. So SS2, SSS2, and then 12, let's say 15 years old. Let's say Uche, and then we'll say SS1, and let's say it's 14 years. Okay. Let's include one more data. All right. Now, formatting text. If I want to increase the size of this text, click and drag. When I say click, mean click your left key on your mouse. Okay? Click it, hold it down, and then drag your mouse. That is click and drag. When I say hold it down, meaning you don't lift your hand off. Click and drag. It highlights everything. Okay? If I want to make it bold, let's see. I click E to make it bold. See that it looks bold. If I want it to be italic, I click this one. Do you see that? If I want everything to be underlined, do you see that? So I click it to undo. I don't need everything to be bold. So let us make only the class name, class, and age bold. So I'm going to highlight name, class, age, make it bold. Do you see that? If I want to increase the size, I press this A icon, this one, with upward arrow to increase font size. Do you see that? Do you see? So you can see the font size currently is size 16. The font type, meaning the handwriting, let me put it like that, is Calibri. If I want to change it, if I change it to this, do you see that? Now, this class is not showing fully. I can double click here to expand it. Do you see that? Okay. I'm going to highlight again. Let me change it to a different, what's it called? Fonts. Do you see that? Good. Now, for the remaining items, names, the records, okay? For the records, now, highlight. And I want to make it smaller. I press this one, make it smaller. Do you see? Okay? Now, let's say I want to bring everything to the middle. I don't like the way it is aligned to the left. I want it to be in the middle. What do? I press this one here, alignment. You can see we're in the alignment group ribbon. I press this one here to center my content. Do you see that? If I want to align to the right, I press this one. Align center, align to the left. Do you see that? So I'm going to leave it here. If I want it to be in the middle of the cell, again, let's say for instance now, I expand these cells. You see that all the names are aligned to the bottom. Okay? So if I highlight everything and I want it to be in the middle of the cell, I will press this one. Align middle. Bam, it takes it to the middle of the cell. Do you see that? Let's do the same thing for the headers. I will highlight the headers, click and drag. I'll take it to the middle like this, bring it to the middle like this. Do you see that? That is alignment. Okay? You can play around with all these things. Thing is, we cannot touch all, what is it called? We cannot touch all the functions here. All right, so we'll follow the syllabus one after the other. We'll follow the content that we have in our slide here for Excel. Okay, so we'll follow what we have here in the content. All right, so back here. Now, let me see. So if I want this to look like a proper table, okay, I can highlight this. All right, let us filter. Or no, do not just look at filtering yet. Let us highlight. Let us put a color to highlight these cells by coming to this fill icon. Okay, it will fill the cell with a color. So I'll click this drop down arrow. Let us fill with light blue. Do you see that? Okay. Now, still highlighted, I want to change the font color to white. Beautiful. Okay. Now, I will highlight the entire data. And what can I do? I want these grid lines to show clearly. I will come over here where I have borders. I will click on this drop down arrow and I will click on all borders. You see that the grid line now shows, it is now solid. It is clearer. Do you see that now? Name, class, age, automatically. So if you have your data, all right, you can play around formatting it. Format the header, format the body as well. Okay? Or you can simply select your data and come over to here where you have format as table and choose a particular format you think you like here. Okay? If I click this one, it says, where is the data for your table? This range, it has already highlighted it. I'll just say, my table has headers. These are your headers. Name, class, age. So if your table has headers, you check it and I'll click OK. All right. Now, the reason why I did not bring out this color is because I already filled these cells with a particular color. All right. So let me undo, go back and move on. Now, to apply filter, all you need to do is highlight your data or just highlight the headers alone. Come to sort and filter here, though we'll still see this later, and click on filter. When you click on filter, you will see some boxes show inside the cell. Okay? You can see those boxes showing inside the cell. All right, now those boxes are known as your filter icons. Filter allows you to select the data you want to see and remove the data you don't want to see. For instance, if I want to see the students in SS2, I will click on this icon for class. I will deselect everything and I will select on SS2 and click OK. This does not mean that the data has been deleted. It has been hidden. You will see that my column or my row 2 and row 5 have been highlighted now. Isn't it? Do you see that? Different color. And then the demarcation shows that it is bigger. Right? It tells you that there are hidden cells there. It has been filtered. All right? So that is filtering. We'll see more on filtering when we get into the data cleaning and preparation. So I'm going to clear filter from class. All right? Now, let us now take a look at paste special. Okay? Let's say I have this. Now, I copy. Let's highlight. If I want to copy, highlight and press Ctrl C. C for copy. Ctrl C to copy. Okay? Now, if I want to paste, go to where you want to paste. Let's say I want to paste it here. Press Ctrl V. V for van to paste. You see that it's pasted automatically. Okay? But what do we mean when we talk about paste special? I'm going to press Ctrl Z to undo. After highlighting the range, I'm pressing Ctrl C to copy. If you want to make use of paste special, you are simply going to right-click a particular cell. When you right-click on that cell, what do I mean by right-click? The right button on your mouse or your trackpad. Click on the right button, right-click in that cell, and come over to where you have paste special. Click on paste special. Over here, there are special things you can paste. If I want to paste all these things now, except the borders, I don't want those black lines to show. I will simply say paste all except borders.
No. When they are
Okay? All except borders. Please, from time to time, mute yourself. I'm always having to go to the Zoom controls to be muting us. I don't know why we are unmuting. Now, click on all except borders and click OK. You see now that those black lines, the borders, is not there again. It pasted only the value. Let's try another paste special. Okay, so it is still copied. So far you can see this moving line. It shows that what's it called? The copy operation is still active. Right click, paste special. I can paste just formulas. Don't worry, we'll see that one. Or just values. I cannot use this data for that. I would use another data for that. Let me see what I can show you again. Okay, let's look at transpose. If I click transpose and I click OK, do you see what the transpose operation did? It transposed the data. Do you see that? I now have name that is in column, I have it on the first row. Class that is in the second column, I have it on the second row. Age that is in the third column, I have it on the third row. Do you see that? That is the operation for transposing. Okay? So, that is the operation for transposing. All right? Now, hey, sorry. Kindly give me. Oh, wow. All right, so that is the column for transposing, or that is the operation for transposing. So you see how transposing works. Okay, the attendance form has been sent again in case you want to fill the attendance if you have not filled it today. All right, now back here, if let us perform another paste special operation. This time around, let us use numbers. Okay, let us use numbers. All right, now, can we transpose the original data without copying? You can do that when you get to Power Query. I'll be teaching you Power Query in Power BI. Okay, but on your normal Excel sheet, no, you have to transpose. Okay, that's to be copy and then you transpose the data. Then you can go ahead and delete the data that you don't need. Okay, you can delete this if you don't need this again, and delete this. All right, highlight the columns, click the first column and drag. Once you highlight, right click and then click on delete. It deletes all that column, all those columns automatically. All right, so now I am going to, please pay attention. Please pay attention. Now, let's say I have numbers like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Okay? And I want to multiply these numbers by 2 automatically. There are various ways I can do it. Okay? Various ways I can do it. All right? But since we're still talking about paste special, let me show you the paste special way. I want to multiply it by 2. What I will simply do is to write 2 anywhere on my sheet. Just type the number 2 anywhere on my sheet. Okay? I will now click on this cell and I will click copy. What version of Microsoft Word and Excel do we need? I am not teaching you Microsoft Word. Okay? But I think it all comes together. You can make use of Microsoft Office 2016 and above, or 2019 and above, if you can get that. Okay. Assuming it was available for download online, I would have recommended it, but the only place you can get it is you go to a store, Computer Village, or a store where they can install it for you. Okay, you cannot download it online because it's paid. Okay, you have to pay for it. All right, but the Microsoft Power BI and the SQL are going to be using, those ones are quite straightforward. All right, so but the Excel, most Microsoft, what's it called? Windows come with Microsoft Excel as well. Okay, but if yours does not come with it and you want to maybe download another one or install another one, you have to go to a software engineer to help you install it. Okay. Now, I want to multiply all these numbers by this number 2. Okay. Now, if I copy this number 2, just copy, Control C to copy. Come here and highlight the data. After highlighting, right click, paste special. Okay, then come over to operation, say multiply, and click K. Do you see that? You see how my value changed? Do you see how my values, you see how they changed? Do you see that? Okay. So you see how the values changed automatically. And once you are done, just double click anywhere on your cell. Double click anywhere to deactivate the copying. All right. So let's say I want to multiply it by 2 again. Come to these 2. Or if I want to multiply it by 5 this time around, type 5 somewhere. Just anywhere on the sheet. It does not have to be cell C. Let me type it here. Just type the number 5 anywhere. So I want to multiply all these numbers by 5. I will copy number 5. I'll come here, highlight everything. Right click, paste special. I will click on multiply, and I will click on K. Do you see that it multiplied everything by 5? So to deactivate this copying process, double click anywhere. Pam, pam. Once you double click anywhere, it deactivates and you are done. Okay? So one more thing on paste special. One more thing on paste special before we end the class. One more thing on paste special before I ask questions and then we round it up. One more thing on paste special. So let's say I have a formula. Okay? I'll show you how to make use of formulas. Right? I'll show you how to make use of formulas. But we've not gotten to paste. We've not gotten to that aspect. But let me just show you. Now, let's say I want to add up these 2 numbers. This one is in cell A6. This one is in cell A7. Let me add it up here. I'll say equals to A6. Click on it. I'll type plus A7. Click on it and press enter. It gives me 3,000. Okay? Let's now say I have another cell here that says total. And I want to put the total in this cell. I want to copy this 3,000 from here to here. See what happens. If I come here and I press Ctrl C to copy, I come here and I press Ctrl V to paste. What do you see? It gives me 0. And in the formula bar, it has changed to G6 plus G7. This is called relative referencing. As I move my formula, okay, the referencing also moved from A6 to A7, from A6 and A7 to G6 and G7. But what I want to copy is just the answer, 3,000. I don't need the formula again. What do I do? Come here, where you have the formula. Ctrl C to copy. Go to where you want to paste. Right click. Click on paste special. And then click on values. So you want to paste values alone. Click on K. You see that now it pastes 3,000, not a formula. So double click anywhere to deactivate the copying. If you press enter, it will give you something else again. Just double click anywhere to deactivate the copying and you have your answer. Another beautiful use of paste special. All right, so we have been able to cover what we had for today, or what I had planned today, both in Google Forms, showing you how it works, implementing it, okay, and everything that we had on Excel for today. All right, so we made good use of our time. Now, for the last time, I'm dropping the link to the Google Form